Today we're tackling a core skill for the property and casualty exam, systematically breaking down scenario questions to find coverage gaps. The exam won't ask you to just define a deductible. It will give you a complex scenario and test if you can apply the concepts correctly. Mastering a systematic approach is the key to seeing past the trick wording. Every time you see a scenario question, you should immediately begin a mental checklist. First, who is the insured? The question might describe a loss happening to a relative living in the household. You need to know if they meet the policy's definition of an insured, not just if they are related to the named insured. Second, what is the covered property or auto? A classic trap is a question about a client's boat that was damaged while parked in their driveway. While the boat is their property, a standard homeowner's policy often has very limited coverage for watercraft, requiring a separate policy. Third, what was the cause of loss? This is the peril. You must know the difference between basic, broad, and special cause of loss forms. For example, if a pipe freezes and bursts, that's a covered peril under the broad form. But if the water damage results from a slow leak over several months, that would likely be excluded. Fourth, when did the loss occur? The exam might provide a loss date that is 1 day before the policy inception date, making the entire loss not covered. It's a simple detail that is easily missed if you're in a hurry. Fifth, are there any exclusions? This is a major area for exam questions. An HO3 policy, for instance, provides open peril coverage for the dwelling, but specifically excludes things like flood and earthquake. The test will describe a loss from a peril that seems like it should be covered, but it's listed in the exclusions section. Sixth, what are the policy limits and the deductible? The exam will test your ability to apply these. For instance, a policy might have a $250 special limit for antennas and satellite dishes. If a windstorm causes $1,000 of damage to a satellite dish, the policy will only pay $250, minus the policy deductible. Seventh, is there an endorsement? Endorsements change the standard policy. A question might mention an ordinance or law endorsement, which covers the additional costs to rebuild a damaged property to current building codes. Without that endorsement, those extra costs are an uncovered gap. A helpful mental shortcut is to think like an adjuster and ask, is this person, property, and peril covered at this time and in this location? If so, for how much after I subtract what isn't covered? Let's apply this. A scenario states that during the policy period, a fire that started in the insured's garage destroyed a custom-built trailer valued at $3,000. The insured has a standard HO3 policy with a $500 deductible. Is it covered? Let's check. The insured is covered. The location is the resident's premises. The cause of loss, fire, is a covered peril. But is the trailer covered property? A standard HO3 provides some personal property coverage, but trailers often have specific, low limits or are excluded entirely, representing a significant coverage gap. The exam is testing your knowledge of those specific internal limits and exclusions, not just the broad concepts. By systematically reviewing each element, insured, property, peril, timing, exclusions, limits, and endorsements, you can deconstruct any scenario question and confidently identify the correct answer, avoiding the common traps set by exam writers. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.